hello. Hey guys. What's up? For today's video, I did want to do kind of a more relaxed chit-chat books. I wanted to talk about some books that I've read recently. So if you're gonna relax with me, grab your beverage of choice. Mine's gonna be a Tim Hortons double, and I wanted to show you guys quick my Halloween mug. I actually don't normally like Raydon, but I'm such a sucker for mugs with lids on them, so this is one of my Halloween mugs. So let's get ready and let's chat about books. So the first book that I read recently is Varity, and to be honest guys, I was not a huge fan. I don't think I like Colleen Hoover. So basically this book is about an author who is she hasn't had a hit in a while, so I mean she needs to pay her bills somehow. So she's on her way to a meeting to see if she can take over a series of another author that's way more popular than she is. And this could be like a really good opportunity for her to see if she can finish Verity's series. She ends up getting the contract and living at Verity's home. But when she gets there, things aren't right. So I'm gonna leave it at that. The thing about this book is that I felt like there was a lot of times where I was thinking to myself, like, what's happening? Nothing's happening. Where's the plot? And that's just why I didn't like the book. We were essentially reading a story about a girl reading a story. And in the first story, not much is happening. I mean, don't get me wrong, it did keep me, like, I kept reading to the next chapter, but at the same time I was thinking, is anything going to happen? And in the end, for me, not much happened. So that's Verity. And from this one book, I just know that I'm not gonna read Colleen Hoover books anymore. This book was gifted to me for my birthday this summer by the lovely and beautiful Kay from ASMR for Everyone. And she also gifted me another book as well. And this book was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And, but before we move on, this one's like a 3 out of 5, maybe 2.5 out of 5. If I'm being generous, 3 out of 5. Okay, back to this book. This book is, I think it's a YA. I'm pretty sure it's a young adult book. It's about this girl named Pippa, which Pippa's such a cute name, first of all. There was a murder in her town that wasn't technically solved, but everybody just decided that they were gonna jump on the bandwagon and start blaming this guy in town. But Pippa is not 100% convinced that this guy actually did it. So she starts piecing together everything that's going on, and we're along for the ride. We're piecing things together with her. We're going everywhere with her, and we're following along. And I thought this book was really cute because I just really enjoyed it. This book for sure, 5 out of 5 for me. I am going to read the rest of it when I get a chance. But this book I was reading like a mad woman because I think August 6th or something like that this year, it came out in Netflix, and I wanted to finish it before it came out. And the book was way better than the series. I mean, the series was okay if you didn't read the book, but if you read the book, I think the series would have disappointed you. And also in the series, I watched with my sister and my mom, and my sister figured it out in like the second episode, I think. So, again, that's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. 5 out of 5 for me. Okay, let's move on to the next book. So, let me tell you a little story. A couple weekends ago, I went to Indigo because I had my heart set on a specific book that I will share with you guys later on. But I walked in and I saw a lovely lady sitting at a table. It was a quiet day, and I thought to myself, oh, this is an author signing. And something about her like pulled me to her, and I was like, hi, what's your book about? I would love to read it. La, da, 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 da. And she told me it's about this chick and this guy, and they're a little older, you know, they're in their 40s, I think, and they fall in love, and it's basically a very cute romantic book, and an autumn romantic book. And even though I primarily like horror or like true crime books, I have to. And she took pictures with me, which I'll put up here, and she did sign it to me. So I'm very excited to read it. It's called Evie's Haven. So I haven't started it quite yet, but this book I did want to see. She said to Sheena, which, if you guys were not aware, Gorda is not my real first name. Thanks for support. Happy reading. So I'm very excited to read this, guys, and I recommend it just because everybody deserves for their book to be read. Let's get back to the books that I have read. Okay, so the next one is called Near the Bone. And oh my goodness, I loved this book. Okay, let me tell you what it's about. So there's a woman, she lives in the mountains, and in this little cabin with her and her husband live in this mountain, and it's a secluded place. You know, they have to store bear meat or something. I don't know, it's kind of like Last Alaskans. Have you seen that show, Last Alaskan? I picture it's like this. I don't know, it was like somewhere in the Yukon territory, somewhere cold that no one wants to live. The woman's name is something with an M. Martha. No, not Martha. Millie? Maddie. Her name is Maddie, and her husband's name is William. Okay, well, Maddie is early 20s, I believe. Early 20s, and her butthole husband is well over, like, he could be her dad, okay? And he is a wanker. He is abusive emotionally, physically. He's just, you know, a person you never want to cross in your whole entire life. And this book does such a good job of making you feel so sad. I felt like Maddie was a real character, and I wanted to go and rescue her. But back to the book. There's something in the woods. They don't know what's in the woods. I mean, we can, you know, take a guess of what's in the woods. We don't know. But when they come across whatever's in the woods, this is when shit starts to get real. And it's just a thriller, like you don't know what's gonna happen, and at the same time you're screaming at Maddie like, bitch, do something. Like, that's how I was reading this book. So honestly, I loved it. Recommend. This book is a 5 out of 5 for me. Okay, so we're gonna get to the last of the physical books that I have read, and the next book that I read was Midnight Rooms by Danye Coles. And that cover is freaking gorgeous. I mean, I love it. So this book is about, obviously, a black woman, but it's set in the, I think, 1800s. Maddie is adopted by her uncle once her dad dies, so her dad's brother, and this guy comes and he wants to marry Maddie. Okay, he wants to take her away, he wants to wine and dine her, he wants to be her baby daddy or whatever. You know, she's all about that life, okay? She decides, yeah, I'm gonna marry this guy. You know, he's well off, my life will be better, I won't feel like I'm burdening my uncle anymore, it'll be great. So she marries him and they set off and they go to this guy's land. I don't at all whatsoever remember her husband's name though. His name is, it's Elias. So she marries Elias, and Elias doesn't care that she is a black woman in the 1800s, by the way, so kudos to Elias. So he brings her home, and it's not exactly what she thinks it's going to be. She gets there, everything's like gloomy, everything's old, everything's just not exactly what she was hoping for or expecting. And that's all I'll tell you about this book. It's a gothic romance book, so there's a bit of thriller, it's a bit dark. I do feel like this book was repetitive. I loved it until about the middle because I felt like everything was just being repeated over and over again. So this book was like a 3 out of 5 for me. I can't remember what I rated it on Goodreads, but I think it was a 3 out of 5. I did like the book. It's a very pretty cover, so I didn't mind it at all. And unfortunately, I'm one of those readers that buys books based on their cover. I judge books by their cover. Okay. So, what I'm currently reading, my physical book that I'm currently reading is called Tinfoil Butterfly, and I'm 50-50. Like, this is my current read. The reviews that I saw on this, like, people were crying about it, people were, like, touched by it. So far, I am not. I'm just kind of like, let's, get a move on. But I have to follow it to the end. I think I'm only like a quarter way in, so I don't know where my bookmark is. But I think I'm on chapter 6 or 7. I don't know. So I'm only like this far in. And so far it's a little bit hard for me to get through because it's not making me come back for more, you know? I hit that and now I want to quit it. So let's move on to the Cobo. On the Cobo right now, by the way, I'm reading, the glare. I'm reading Gone to See the Riverman, and this book has got me. Okay, so quickly I'll show you how I decorated my Cobo. It's smaller than the Kindle, I think, but I don't really mind that at all. So anyways, I have like a romantic, dark gothic thing going on. Well, that's what I was going for. So I got some skulls and some roses and my pop socket. Oh, you know what? Let me go. So I have some skulls, like I said. I had some girls, some skull candies. And then like my little dust plug is like a rose. So I wanted to do like a romantic thing here. Okay, so the first book I read was We Used to Live Here. God. This book was really good. So it's about this girl named Evie, okay? And her and Charlie, her girlfriend, buy a house. So they're renovating it and everything. So they buy their house, and one day Evie is home alone and she hears a knock at the door. So she answers it, and it's this guy, and he's like, oh, hey, you know, this is my wife, my 2 sons and daughter, and we used to live here. Would you mind if I come in and show my family the house, just where I grew up and everything? Honestly, who would be dumb enough to let a guy, random people, strangers, in their house just so that they can look at the house? I mean, I certainly wouldn't. Would you, Jack? He wouldn't either. But you know who would? Eve. She lets this family come in, and they never leave. So that's where I'll leave it. But you know what? If I was Charlie, and I came home and there were random people that my husband let in the house because they used to live here, you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of my home and take my husband with you too. Because he let you in the first place. That book was pretty good. It's a psychological book. Like, honestly, the second half of the book, I was just thinking, like, what is going on? Like, it really had me loca. Definitely recommend this book. 4.5 out of 5. So the next book I had to give back to the library, but I really enjoyed this one. It's called One by One by Ruth Ware. It's about these employees. It's the creators of some sort of like Spotify-like app, and they're all trying to get along and everything. So they decide to go to a ski resort to try and get along. It's just a big jambalaya, but then there's an avalanche. Okay, so in this avalanche, some of the people start going missing. So one by one, they start going missing. I really like this book. My sister recommended it to me. The only thing about the book, though, is that I was able to see who done it a mile away. It wasn't a big mystery, but I still really enjoyed reading it. I thought it was a good storyline, and I thought it did a really good job of making you hate most of the characters, so I really liked that one. I definitely recommend it. 3.8, maybe 4 out of 5. Good book. Let's talk about Lucy Foley. I read her books. I read 2 of her books. So, The Paris Apartment and The Guest List. I like The Guest List better than The Paris Apartment. So, The Guest List, listen, in terms of mystery, this book was not very mystery-ish. I'm just gonna tap on a random book. It wasn't a hard mystery to solve or anything. So when it comes to mystery, it didn't really hit for me. However, the gossip aspect of it, I was drinking that tea. This author made up some good gossip, okay? So I was like, what? Who? Where? And honestly, I like this book for the gossip. I thought she really did a good job for those chismosos out there. For those little gossipers out there, she did a really good job. So that's the reason why I liked it. But like I said, mystery-wise, it was weak last week. The second book, oh wait, let me tell you what it was about. So it's about this couple. They're engaged to be married, and everybody goes to this island. It's a secluded kind of island that it's kind of an exclusive wedding because they're kind of well known. I think one's an actor and one's something else. So this is when this whole story starts to unfold, and you just start getting in the gossip, and it's good, let me tell you. The tea is steaming. The second book for her that I had to return to the library, which, by the way, I signed them out through Libby, and the only reason I've heard of Libby before was because of CC ASMR. Bless your soul. If it was not for her, I wouldn't read half the books I do. Thank you for saving my life. The Paris Apartment, which this was a little while ago, so I don't remember any of their names. So the sister, let's just give her a name, Hannah. So Hannah she gets in a bit of trouble. So she goes to find her brother who lives in an apartment in Paris. So when she gets to the address, her brother is nowhere to be found. So this book is her trying to find out where her brother is. And there's a lot of suspects. So a lot of Lucy Foley's books are like that. There's main suspects and you just kind of have to figure it out, or who you think done it. So there's always suspects have like twisted stories or something like that, and it's fun to kind of just like read everybody's story and piece it all together. I just don't like the stories that much, so this book was like a 3 out of 5 for me, but I still recommend it. It was a good book. So let's go on to our next book. This book is called Night Shoot, and it's about these students. They're in a group, so they're in film school and they have to make movies. So the director gets his uncle to lend him time in this giant castle like manor, it's a big house. And the uncle says, okay, you can film your movie here, but you gotta be out by 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. rolls around and they have not finished filming. So they decide to break in back into the castle house. And once they do, shit hits the fan. I thought this book was so detailed. It was gory. It was creepy. It was gross. Excellent. If you really like horror books that are gory and really descriptive and everything, this book was great. I loved the beginning and I loved the end too. I thought it was such a good ending. The characters, honestly, none of the characters were good, but it did a good job of making me hate the characters though. All the characters were little weasels, none of them were good. And the main character girl, she was okay, but still I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was a great book. 100% recommend. If you want to know what else I've been reading, let me know in the comments below. But I do hope that you found some good suggestions or you enjoyed our chill video. And thank you so much for listening to me talk about a bunch of random stuff. So, it's now time to say goodbye. Close those little eyes of yours.